Hey guys, it's Sebastian from AskSebby, and today we are going to unbox the American Express Platinum Card Morgan Stanley version. Address is on the other side, so let's pop this open. Welcome to Platinum up here, and then down here is the card. So this is probably the most accurate color for it, but you do see the Morgan Stanley up here, and otherwise the card is pretty much exactly the same for the other purposes of the card. We did do a separate version talking about all of the variations of the American Express card. If you are someone who hasn't had any of these cards yet, I'd recommend going for the normal, no edition, vanilla Platinum card first, just because you want to make sure that you get that bonus first. It's a little wood box. I think it's the same as the other one. This one was the one that was received as part of the Amex Platinum Mercedes-Benz card, and it is a bit different than this one. So you can see that's, I think each of these are just made each time, or they made a bunch, but it's not exactly the same. So that is kind of cool. Different colorations, different designs. For the most part though, these don't really matter. I think most people just use them, again, as phone holders. So here, and here's your phone, or here's your phone. So again, this as well as the card, our main purpose though is looking at that sign-up bonus of 60,000 points. One of the really good things about the Platinum card is that each different card is considered a different product, meaning that you are going to be eligible for that bonus for each of those cards. Welcome to Platinum. Let's get started. Probably should be using the tab. Imagine life, imagine the possibilities with 5x points. 5x points on all of your flights, which I would actually not recommend doing, ironically, just because there is no trip delay coverage for American Express Platinum card. I'd recommend using the Chase Sapphire Reserve or the City Prestige, or just something that has trip delay coverage, unless you don't care. Feel at peace even when you're on the go with airline lounge access. So you have access to the Centurion lounges, as well as Priority Pass and Delta Sky Club, and also Escape lounges. And I believe they also have some other lounges that are just part of their program specifically. As someone who moved a lot of their loyalty flights over to Delta, then this has been pretty helpful just because I'm flying Delta anyways. Get where you're going with $200 in Uber credits. So you do get $15 a month, and then you get $20 bonus in December, meaning that you get $35 in December. You also get Uber VIP, which I kind of forgot about, and honestly, I don't think it makes a difference because I haven't really noticed anything. I've gotten pretty good drivers, but I feel like San Francisco, in general, the drivers are pretty good. So for me, I do value this because I do take Ubers, whether it's to go to Costco or to get around town sometimes. So this makes a lot of sense. For other people, if you live in a town where you don't have Uber, then you're probably using this for Uber Eats. Take your experience to the next level with the Platinum Concierge. Let the Platinum Concierge help you with dining and a bunch of other trip planning stuff. So for this, I have used them for some trip planning stuff, but for the most part, they're pretty much a better Google. Or they're not even a better Google. I think they are. Imagine if you were asking your friends to Google stuff for you about a place. That's pretty much what they do. So if you tell them that, hey, you're going to Bali and you're interested in doing scuba diving, they'll give you a bunch of places and maybe places to contact. But if you're someone who has spare time anyways, you can probably do that yourself. So I don't really value that perk that much. Dining is pretty helpful though if you want specific reservations at restaurants that are hard to get into. So I have used that a few times at a few Michelin places. And also if you just want some free items, for certain restaurants, they'll give you free cake if it's your birthday or if someone in your party has a special occasion. In the past too, they do have specific tickets for different events like Hamilton or like some other musicals that are hard to get, that you would otherwise have to spend $600, $700, $800 on, that you're buying for maybe $100 or $200 per tickets. Get the most out of your hotel stays with fine hotel and resorts. So you can get up to $550 in value when you use fine hotel and resorts. I, again, have not really found that much value in this just because I do have a lot of other hotel status. If you have other cards, you probably have the hotel status anyways, meaning that you do get a lot of these perks. There is one really good sweet spot in Vegas if you are someone who's going, just because you can pretty much get $100 in value for a hotel stay that is less than $100. So that one is pretty interesting, but otherwise it really depends on you. I tend to use points if it's something very expensive, and I already get the perks by having status with the Hilton Aspire card or the other cards anyways. Make your travel more rewarding with a $200 airline credit. So this one, you can pick a lot of different airlines. I'd recommend most people to pick Southwest, Delta, or American Airlines, just because the credit is going to be the easiest to use with those airlines. Share the love. You can add an authorized user. That's pretty much it, I believe. Ooh. I thought down here were the terms, but the terms are just up here, as well as the welcome letter. Not really anything interesting there. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do this unboxing is mostly because I actually haven't unboxed a Platinum card, which is kind of surprising. So I figured, why not, if I'm getting the Morgan Stanley card anyways, if I'm getting those 60,000 points, I have the package, why not unbox it for you guys to take a look? Again, I'd recommend only getting cards if you're getting positive expected value, so you want to make sure that you are getting value from the cards, typically from sign-up bonuses or from perks of the card. For many people, the normal vanilla no association one is going to be your first Platinum card, and then a lot of people end up finishing off with the Schwab card if they do want to cash out their points for cash into their brokerage accounts at that 1.25 cents per point. So if you had 100,000 points, that's going to be $1,250 in cash directly into your brokerage. If you are someone who ended up getting the Platinum card, whether it's the normal one or the Morgan Stanley one or any of them, there are a bunch of things I'd recommend doing sooner rather than later. So we did kind of cover them up here. It's not really relevant. So this one is kind of relevant. I would recommend enrolling into Priority Pass as soon as possible. If it's not already enrolled, you do have to log on and click under benefits, and it's just one of the options. Uber, I would recommend adding your card onto Uber as soon as possible to get that $15 or $35 into your accounts, and it does expire at the end of the month, so it doesn't roll forwards. Again, if you don't take Uber that often, I'd recommend just ordering Uber Eats, which is takeouts. Not really anything to do here, but you can test it out if you want to see the recommendations for places. So if you currently live in Cincinnati, maybe email them and ask them for things to do in Cincinnati and see how good the recommendations are. That's nothing really actionable here. This one, you do need to select the airline, and I would recommend waiting maybe 24 hours after selecting it to let it marinate a bit before using it for whatever you're buying. If you are someone new to minimum spends, I'd recommend putting the date that you sign up for the card, as well as when you think the annual fee will come up, into either Google Sheets or into Excel file, and also into your Google Calendar or your calendar that you use. That way you have different reminders for things you need to do, like hitting minimum spend, as well as the next annual fee coming up if you are someone who wants to cancel the card. For the Morgan Stanley one, there's not really anything that interesting unless you have very, very substantial assets of Morgan Stanley. So I think if you have more than $1 million, there is some benefit there. But for normal people, this isn't really going to play a role. Also, if you are someone who is going to run a bunch of transactions early in your card, so let's say you just recently got it and you have a bunch of big transactions, I'd recommend adding your bank account information first, because I think that makes it less risky on their ends, because they're not as scared of you running away and maxing out the card. I've heard of people who have gotten Platinum cards and put a bunch of work spend on it, and again, work spend is pretty reasonable, but then they've gotten a call from American Express telling them, hey, add a bank account right now. That way we know that's, at least you're taking that step. At least you have an intention to pay us back. It might not matter, but again, for me, I would rather de-risk and play it safe because you want to get the points and you want to get the rewards of the card. You don't really want to get shut down for something relatively small and stupid. If you are someone who wants to learn more about American Express cards and you want to support our channel, pretty easy way to do that would be to use the links on our sites or the links in the description box down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, it really helps us out. If you know anyone else who'd benefit from what we just talked about, feel free to share this video with them because it's probably going to help them out. But otherwise, hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time.